Well, reports coming in over 100 terrorists who were killed in the Indian strikes. This is a big confirmation that has been made by Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh, no less. Top sources indicating of this all-party meeting that was convened a short while back. And in this all-party meeting, the briefing that included Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, Union Minister Kiran Rijiju, who were a part of this meeting that took place. And this is now what is being said through sources, what we are learning, that the information on Operation Sindoor and how it was carried out, how it was strategized, all of the details have been communicated to the political parties. Now, through sources, what we are learning, that the government of India has said that in this Operation Sindoor, over 100 dreaded terrorists were killed in this precision strikes that was carried out by the Indian Defence Forces. And this is coming across as a huge development when it comes to these terror dens, these terror training centers. These were the terror targets as far as the Indian military is concerned, and these precision strikes that was carried out on the night of 7th of May. The details of Operation Sindoor are now being shared by the political parties, and the involvement of the political parties here, the first that was convened after the Pahalgam terror attack, where the communication was made to the political parties on the cowardly terror attack, where innocent civilian tourists were attacked in Pahalgam, and post when it comes to Operation Sindoor that was carried out, Pragya, now news information suggesting that the Raksha Mantri has said that over 100 dreaded terrorists were killed in Operation Sindoor.
You are absolutely right, Amita, and in fact, we have spoken to John Pitas on record, and he said that Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, in fact, told all-party meeting that there are at least 100, deaths that have been reported in this particularly Operation Sindoor. But he said this there is also development on that, and we also checked with him whether there was a presentation and brief, a detailed presentation of Operation Sindoor by Mr. Rajnath Singh, where Mr. Rajnath Singh had told all-party meeting as this operation is an ongoing operation, which is very important, Amita. He said that there are more details that are coming in, and this is an evolving situation, so not all details can be discussed here in all-party meeting. However, a demand from the opposition came for Prime Minister being present in the meeting, and Rahul Gandhi also spoke about having a special session on Operation Sindoor, which was given to the government by all opposition leaders. Everyone said that they're united, they're one, they're standing with the government on Operation Sindoor, and there were talks about civilian deaths in Poonch sector on the border because of the artillery firing by Pakistan. That was also taken up in the meeting, Amita.
Well, as far as this meeting now is concerned, as the political parties, Pradeep is also connected with us right now, and it is important to note that the communication with the political parties, that the government keeps it open, because with the reactions that have been coming in, Pradeep, the political party seems to be following the line that they support the government of India.
That's a good thing that political parties are on the same page and they are trying to pose a united front. That's the message they are trying to give, because we have seen that before, after Pahalgam massacre also, they said that we are going to support the government and we are with the armed forces. Whatever the decision will be taken, we are with them. And after that, we saw that there was some kind of a commentary that was coming from their side. Some of them had been raising several questions. Some people were asking for the support. But now, at least after this Operation Sindoor, once again, they are united. They are saying that we are with the government, we are with the armed forces, whatever decision had been taken, whatever action has been initiated. So we are quite happy, and they were also all praised for the armed forces, that action that has been initiated. Now, all-party meeting is going to be there, but once again, there are some people who are raising questions that why the Prime Minister is not chairing the meeting. The Prime Minister should have been present there, because they say that right now we want to tell the world that we all are united. So Prime Minister should not have stayed away from the meeting. Instead of Rajnath Singh, Defence Minister, it should have been Prime Minister. That's the question they are raising right now. Some of them had been demanding that he should have come over to this place. But then, so far as the BJP is concerned, because they are saying he's the senior most minister, Defence Minister, as action has been initiated by the armed forces. So that's one of the reasons. So he's in a better position to inform all political party leaders that what really has happened, how the action was initiated, what was Operation Sindoor all about. And what
the minister also saying that, political parties falling in line, because this is something as far as not giving any oxygen to terror state Pakistan and not discrediting or demoralizing our forces, the political parties have now extended their full support to the government of India. Mohit is also connected with us, so is Pranesh. Pranesh, what we are getting to know, important statement by Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh saying that Operation Sindoor is an ongoing exercise.
It's a massive statement, and this is something that the Defence Minister also indicated in his opening remarks at the all-party meeting. Now, Amita, what are we looking at? At a time when we are saying that the operation is still ongoing, that it is not over, Pakistan has betrayed their worst fears. Pakistan is saying that, look, we've been hit at several places. If you see the latest release by the ISPR, while it is the Pakistani propaganda arm, but there are videos, still images that suggest that, yes, there have been explosions reported, not just in Lahore, but also reports suggest that in some places in Rawalpindi. So juxtapose what Pakistan is claiming, that we are being hit, there has been an explosion, etc., with what Rajnath Singh and Kiran Rijiju have just said. They said that this is not the end of Operation Sindoor. And remember, this comes just after the all-party meeting. So I'm sure this is what must have been the sentiment shared by the government to all the leaders who were present. And who were there? Rahul Gandhi was there, Mr. Khadge was there, Owaisi was there. So this is a very big development on second day of Operation Sindoor. Overnight, we've seen reports that Pakistani misadventure was thwarted. Now, we have confirmation that this strike is not a one-day strike or a 30-minute operation. This is still on.
Yes.
And which is why it is important to read what the Pakistanis are saying with what we've suggested, that this is an ongoing, evolving operation.
Absolutely, and that's the point there, Mohit, that has been given as far as limited information is coming across, because this is something that is confidential. This amounts to national security. And right as far as the meetings that have been taking place with all the political parties, the relevant political parties, we are also looking at back-to-back meetings that are also taking place at the Prime Minister's residence.
Well, yes, in fact, and when it comes to the meetings at Prime Minister residence, Amita, we know for a fact that how NSA Ajit Doval met Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The meeting lasted for an hour, and post that we saw Home Secretary reaching out at the residence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and that meeting also lasted for around 45 to 50 minutes. Now, Home Secretary has just left the residence of 7 LKM, but we can expect more meetings throughout the day. Now, but when it comes to the all-party meeting, the opposition parties, they have been demanding this, that the all-party meeting should be conveyed by the government so that they get to know about the Operation Sindoor, and yes, government agreed to it. So after the all-party meeting, it was a good sign that we saw that how all the opposition parties have come out and they have said that they are standing firm behind the government and the armed forces. They have full belief in the valor of our forces. But as Pranesh was mentioning, that the government did not give a detailed presentation when it comes to Operation Sindoor, because Rajnath Singh, according to the sources, in the particular all-party meeting stated that it's an evolving situation. It's an ongoing exercise. So clearly, India will not stop at the Operation Sindoor 1.0. There will be more strikes coming in at Pakistan, and this is the resolve of India, that we need to eliminate the terror hubs. We need to eliminate the terror backers, and also we need to hit back at Pakistan so hard that it has the long-term implications. So clearly the message is out from the government, and perhaps that is why all the meetings that are happening at Prime Minister Narendra Modi's presence are very important. Now,
yes,
what the sources suggest is that a detailed security review at the border, at the LOC, or the internal security was taken in the meetings which
yes,
Prime Minister held with NSA and the Home Secretary. Now, what can be India's response after the Pakistan will escalate the situation?
So it is an evolving situation. The phase that is still going on, this is very important to know as far as when it comes to this information that has been shared by the government of India with regards to Operation Sindoor that was carried out. The rest of the information is confidential. Of course, this amounts to national security. Let's listen in how the Union Minister Kiran Rijiju has also talked about when it comes to all of the other political parties who are now finding themselves on the same page as the government.
आज ऑल पार्टी लीडर्स का मीटिंग राजनाथ सिंह जी के अध्यक्षता में बहुत अच्छी तरह से हुई है। बहुत गंभीर विषय था, इसलिए सब ने गंभीरता से अपने बात को रखा है। सबसे पहले रक्षा मंत्री जी ने ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के बारे में पूरे लीडर्स को जानकारी दिया, परिस्थिति के बारे में, हालात के बारे में और सरकार का मंशा, सारे चीज़ों को लेकर के ब्रीफिंग हुआ। उसके बाद में सारे पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स ने अपने मत रखा, पार्टी का विचार को और सुझाव भी दिया है। मैं ये मानता हूं कि सारे पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स ने मैच्योरिटी दिखाया है। ऐसे वक्त में जब देश एक बहुत बड़ी चुनौती को हाथ में लेकर के काम कर रहे हैं, तो इसमें राजनीति का कोई जगह नहीं है। ये हमारे पूरे पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज ने दर्शाया है और सब लीडर्स ने एक मत से हमारे सेनाओं ने जो कार्रवाई की है ऑपरेशन सिंदूर को लेकर के पूरे बधाई भी दिया और गौरव का एहसास सबको हुआ है और सबने एक जुट में कहा है कि सरकार का हर निर्णय को साथ देंगे, सेना के हर कार्रवाई को साथ देंगे और कोई इसमें विरोधाभास नहीं है। एक दो मुद्दे सुझाव भी आए हैं। एमपीज ने अपने अपने जो कंसर्न्स को भी बताया कि लड़ाई का हालात में और इस तरह का जो कोई बड़ी घटना होती।
Well, Pranesh, that's the point. India's measured, non-escalatory and proportionate responsible strikes, precision strike that was carried out at the terror dens in Pakistan and POK, as far as when it comes to this information that is being shared to the political
Amita,
parties.
Just hold your thoughts. Abhijit Iyer Mitra is joining us.
Yes.
Abhijit, we are hearing that over 100 terrorists were killed in, in action on day one, and I'm emphasizing on that point about day one because the government is indicating that this is an ongoing operation and that Operation Sindoor has not ended.
Absolutely. And, today we've seen some incoming footage of, our drones hitting their air defenses and crucial command centers and things like that in retaliation to the terrorism they did last night. If you remember, they've been shelling all night. They've killed lots of civilians. Normally along the international border, we have caliber for caliber retaliation. If we use 80 mm mortars, they use 80 mm mortars. If they use 120 mm mortars, we use 120 mm mortars. If they use 155 mm guns, we use 155 mm guns. But yesterday they started firing actual large caliber rockets, which could cause a lot of damage. These have some up to 100 kilo warheads and things like that, which, was what Hezbollah and Hamas do in Israel. So they have expanded the scope of what was going to happen very significantly. And we've, had to do what we have to do. We can't just allow our people to go undefended like that.
Abhijit, as we speak, there's another, report that suggests there has been another explosion in Lahore. We've had reports that suggest that there have been explosions reported in Rawalpindi. What do you make of this?
So, we have to be very careful at this time. They've announced military drills all over the place. And the thing about those military drills is they are doing live fire rounds. So there's a lot of confusion about what we are hitting and what they are, because military drills, when they involve live ammunition, will also cause loud explosions and things like that. They seem to be building a case for war. They shelled us the whole of last night after saying we want to de-escalate. This is why, people like Shahbaz Sharif cannot be taken at face value. The man has no power. He's just saying what he has to say while they keep continuing with their provocations. They're trying to drag us into a war. They're telling the international community, oh, we're doing nothing. Well, they are. They're killing our people again and again. And when we retaliate, they'll claim that we are the ones that started it and they had de-escalated and etc., etc. So it's a very careful plan. They seem to want to go to war.
Okay, so, would it be right to, going by what you've told us, so are you suggesting that this is a false flag operation?
Parts of it are false flag operations because they want to scare their own. Some we have hit in retaliation for last night. But most of it that we're hearing, especially what was happening in Sialkot last night and things like that, Sialkot was a pre-announced Pakistani military drill. So, they're trying to create fear amongst their own population, get some, social media, because social media videos, you can't see who came and hit, especially at night and things like that. So what ends up happening is they're basically essentially creating a lot of false flags to claim they were under attack, and they're just responding.
Abhijit, there's another theory that I want you, to comment on, and that is that in the briefing that happened yesterday, there were at least 27 places. Now, 9 we had hit. There were some others like, Mastar-e-Aqsa, Chalabandi, Abdullah bin Masood, Dulai, Gadhi Habibullah, Batarasi, Oghi, Boi, Sensa, name of places that were there in that list, but they were not hit. So when, the government indicates that the Operation Sindoor is not over, are we to understand that, these places are next, could be next?
Absolutely. There are, listen, this Pakistan is a menagerie of, terrorism. It's almost like going like wildlife safari in Africa during the migrations, during the the 5 large migrations in Africa, where, you have to go hundreds of kilometers to see different animals migrating in different places. This is just like that. It's an open-air zoo of terrorism, a safari of terrorism, if you must. And, it is a very target-rich environment. Terrorism just doesn't come from select areas like Bahawalkot or Muridke. They have dispersed their assets across the entire country, overwhelmingly in Punjab. And that is what, we have to go after all the targets. So every time they decide to provoke us like they did with the shelling across the international border yesterday, we find targets to retaliate.
As we speak, Abhijit, news just coming in, the news flow is quite thick and heavy. Rawalpindi is on high alert. Ahmedabad has reported that air sirens are on. How do you read this?
Lahore, especially, air sirens should be on because we have targeted the outskirts of Lahore. All military facilities, might I add, not one single civilian facility. These are all things which have been controlling the shelling whole of last night. We would have done very good electronic intelligence and seen where the command and ordering and, strategizing was coming from. Because, radio signals are, it's not exactly rocket science tracing them back to origin. And we have basically hit the command centers and their air defenses.
I also have, list that is doing the rounds on Pakistani media, list of those injured in the Lahore attack. Now, what do you make of this? For instance, you have, and I'm reading from the list, this is doing the rounds on Pak media, Abhijit, Captain Fahad, age 27 years old. He is from the 133 Light Air Defense Unit. Then you have Havildar Naved. And there are several names, and this is the list that's doing the rounds on Pak media. Your take on this?
Now, I can also make up a list. I can claim my 3-year-old niece and my 596-year-old grandmother was killed in Pakistani retaliation last night in Poonch. So, I don't take these lists seriously. But we need to be asking ourselves if military people, even if on their list, military people are dying, what were they doing in terror encampments? Clearly known terror encampments, which as per Google Maps are marked as community health centers. They are marked as madrasas. What were these people doing out there? What is a serving military officer doing in a madrasa? I can understand he goes to a mosque to pray, but what is he doing in a madrasa? So, they're tying themselves up in these knots where they're not able to explain.
No, what were they doing even when it comes to the funeral of these terrorists, Abhijit? I mean, the pictures that came in yesterday, there were many of those men who were actually in uniform.
Absolutely. Imagine in Kargil, they refused to accept their own military men's bodies. But when terrorists die, the entire military shows up to celebrate them. This is the kind of country you're dealing with. They are pathological liars. They will concoct anything. I want to see the photos. These lists by themselves mean nothing. If they're service officers, their service should be celebrated. They should put up their photos. Itna dar kyun rahe hain?
No, so are we to suggest that this is another propaganda stunt by the Pakistani side that they're putting out these names?
After yesterday, after Shehbaz Sharif's little performance in his parliament, saying that they want to de-escalate, and Khawaja Asif also, the defense minister, puppet defense minister, also said he wants to de-escalate. They are now desperate because they have lost face.
Right.
The
Abhijit,
was so public.
I think, let's just connect over Zoom. We'll end this for a minute so that, you have a minute or two to connect to us
Sure.
virtually.
Sure.
It'll be better.
Sure.
So, Amita, you heard that Abhijit really, trying to decode the Pakistani propaganda. So he's suggesting that everything that comes our way from the Pakistani propaganda arms or their people on social media, we must take that with a pinch of salt. But having said that, look at what's playing out on the screen.
Yes.
Karachi, Lahore, Rawalpindi, Pakistan in a state of total chaos and mess. This is how spooked Pakistan is as we speak. This is a day after Operation Sindoor. In Karachi, look at the damage done. In Lahore, people are out on the streets, not knowing what to do, where to look. And then you have these pictures that just come in from Rawalpindi.
Well, that's the point there. Is it their plan of deception or this false panic that has now been created to fool their own people? Because there seems to be complete chaos and confusion that seems to have broken out on the streets there as well. And Pradeep can speak on this because pictures that have been coming in. And imagine when it comes to their puppet defense minister, his main source of intel seems to be on social media. Is this how they seems to be working as far as when it comes to these explosions? The nature of these explosions is something that, it is still not clear who's actually behind it. Is it own Pakistan army or their own people who are, creating such kind of a panic atmosphere in their own cities? Pradeep.
Yes, you're absolutely right. See, what they're trying to do. Reason is that they're preparing for something big and they know that it will not be easy for them to ask people to move from that particular area. So what they're doing is that by carrying out such explosions, they're trying to generate fear in the minds of the people that something really big is going to happen so that people evacuate those places and move towards safer areas. And the other thing that Pranesh as well as Avijit Mitra had been discussing about, you must have seen that they performed the last rites and the funeral procession, even the army officers and the police officers were present. So this clearly indicates how interwoven the terror organization and army organization is. There is every possibility that these army personnel, they had been deputed and they were working with the Lashkar-e-Toiba or Jaish-e-Mohammed. They were involved in many of the terror attacks. And that's why when many of them got killed in the terror nerve center. So now they were performing the last rites and with full military honor, the last funeral was performed of these army officers. So there is every possibility of that because already we have seen that there is an evidence with the National Investigation Agency, the Hashim Musa, the man behind Pahalgam massacre. He's also a part of SSG commando of Pakistan Army. So he was part of SSG. Now he is a Lashkar-e-Toiba. That clearly indicates that there is a very thin line between Lashkar terror organization, Jaish-e-Mohammed and army. So because everybody knows, if we talk about Pakistan, there had been a nexus that's called military, mullah and mujahid nexus. And so nexus had been going on for years together. So there is every possibility that they send their men to deputation. It is not about that they are deliberately trying to hide them because now when any of them got killed, so they have to perform last rites with full military honor. That's what they are trying to do. And then there is the other possibility also that because these terrorists are being used as assets by them to train their guns against India. So all these years they had been using them. So now when they got killed, so finally they are performing their last rites with full military honor. That's also there. That again shows that how the military and the Mujahideen, they are working together in Pakistan. And today Pakistan is facing trouble or problem. It is not because of India. It is because of the mess they themselves have created because they had been feeding these snakes in their backyard and now they're facing problem because of them. If you raise a dust and then you can't complain.
Well, Abhijit is now connected with us through Zoom now. Abhijit, if you can hear me now, what is this picture that you believe that Pakistan is trying to paint? Because, its intel has completely failed. Their own defense minister seems to be getting their intel through social media sources. If this is not Gidar Bhapki as it is called, then what is? They don't even know what exactly hit him with these multiple explosions that are going off in multiple cities.
So, what happened, Amita, was that yesterday, it was a very public humiliation for them. They couldn't hide the fact that seminaries had been hit, terror seminaries. And because you saw the hospitals, you saw all these grown jihadis with full flowing beards within fighting age, young men coming in and being treated, many of them very badly burnt. And this has happened in the heart of political power, which is Punjab. Asim Munir is from Punjab. Shehbaz Sharif is from Punjab. When your chief of army staff and your prime minister, all be a puppet, is from Punjab, it has been a very significant humiliation. Now they have told, and I believe this was done very deliberately, that Shehbaz Sharif and Khwaja Asif, the two civilians, were told to say we want to de-escalate. What did they do last night? Anything but de-escalation. They opened up with small caliber, large caliber, every kind of caliber. Why? Deliberately, and they targeted villages and civilian areas. They did not target military areas. They targeted civilian areas to cause a population evacuation, knowing that we will defend our people, which is what we've done this morning. We've targeted those areas from where the command and control was being done, which incidentally was happening in Lahore, coming out of Lahore. We need to remember Muridke is where the regional command headquarters of the army and the ISI are.
Yes.
So, they have planned this to pretend to be the victim. They always become the victims in everything. Amrita, every time there's a terror attack that happens...
Then Abhijit, if they continue crying that, we are the victims of terror, then they should be thanking India for carrying out these strikes, because they couldn't get rid of the terrorists and the terror hubs. India has done it for them.
Absolutely. But see, this is what they will tell you. The Taliban are now terrorists, and these terrorists are actually mullahs. They're not terrorists. Their definition of terrorist change. They do this all the time. When Lashkar-e-Toiba becomes a proscribed, a UN proscribed, US proscribed terrorist organization, they change the name and create the Resistance Front. Let's remember, they started off with JKLF. When JKLF became too big for its boots, they split it into several different things. Then when those organizations became too big for their boots, they split it into more different things. This is a constant game.
Well, this farcical attempt to shield these terrorists, because India outrightly calls them terrorists no less. And what through sources we are learning that this all-party meeting, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh has said that 100+ dreaded terrorists have been killed. And more so, this is an evolving situation. Operation Sindoor is not over. Now, this farcical list of injured, Ritanshu will take us through exactly, that has now been released. Who are these individuals that have been released? That nature of blasts itself and explosions is not clear, Ritanshu. What is Pakistan trying to portray?
It is very, very fascinating, Amita, when you ask the question as to who are these people who have been injured here. Now, what we have, let me make it very clear to our viewers. We have a purported list of those who have been injured in Lahore, which has been put out by Pakistan. Now, Pakistan claims they have been injured in a drone attack. There has been no confirmation or no statement of that from India yet. But the list is quite telling, Amita, because these are not civilians. The first list is Captain Fahad. His age is 27 years. He has been in service for 6 years. He is in a strong, his nature of injuries are various injuries in a strong state. Number 2 on the list is Mr. Havaldar Naveed. Again, a Fauji, again a man in uniform, not a civilian. His age is 40 years. He's been serving for 20 years in the light air defense. Nature of injuries is severe head injury here. Number 3, Sepoy Dar Mohammed. Again, 24 years old, serving, period of service is 5 years. These are the list which has been put out. None of them are civilians. They are people who have been serving for 5 years to 20 years. They're all in the light air defense.
This is all the more question because it doesn't even look like a formal list. There is no letterhead. There is no, in a manner in which, in fact, when it comes to people who have died or are injured in a way, when it comes to their information is shared, it seems to be just scribbled. Somewhere looks more like a WhatsApp update that seems to be shared on part of these list of purported people who have been injured in these multiple explosions. The nature of these explosions, however, is still not clear. The Pakistanis themselves don't know.